Good morning and welcome to Dr. G. I'm just saying. I want to focus a little bit on a young man that has come under great public scrutiny. I think he's gone from fame to infamy. He's gone from fame to infamy. I think some of it is unfair towards him. I think that many people have misconceived ideas about him. Some of their ideas grow out of media information, propaganda, misinformation, I should say, that comes from the media. And some people say that this young man is a thug. He grew up as a gangster. Let me give you a little bit about where Mr. Ja Morant hails from. He hails from a place, a small city in South Carolina called Dalzell, South Carolina. I know that city. I am from Sumter, South Carolina myself. That's my birthplace. I grew up there, went to high school there, played sports there. And Dalzell is where I also attended church at St. Mark 4B Baptist Church. The Honorable Reverend Dr. Samuel Simmons is the pastor there. But let me say something about Dalzell. Let me give you some facts about Dalzell. Dalzell, South Carolina, population 3,319, 1,685 males, 1,634 females, 1,236 households, 776 family households, 470 non-family households. Average household income $64,358. Median household income $58,924. 331 people below the poverty level. 2,826 people that live above the poverty level. 1,373 housing units. Most of them built medium in 1992, many previous to that, and many after that. 803 are owner-occupied, and 433 are rented property. Dalzell is a very small, community-oriented town. It nurtures its children. It cares for its own. It's an old-fashioned city, if you don't mind. And it does things the way we used to do it back when I was growing up. All the adults were responsible for all the kids. And if you did something wrong and an adult saw you doing it, you were going to be told on. And you were going to also deal with the consequences of whatever it was you were doing. That's the town. That's the kind of environment that Mr. Ja Morant grew up in. He was born in South Carolina to two parents, T and Jamie Morant. His mother, Jamie, was a point guard in high school. She played softball in college. Her father was a high school teammate of Ray Allen. And that is the Ray Allen, the Hall of Famer. He played basketball for Claflin College in South Carolina, looked at a semi-pro career and thought about going overseas to play basketball. But after Ja was born, he decided that he would remain there in South Carolina. He became a barber so he could raise his son. He spent a lot of time nurturing Ja and training him as a basketball player. He taught him to shoot the step back jumper. He taught him by piling up tractor tires how to jump and soft landing to be good for on his knees. He did a lot to help Ja get to his place. Ja played in the AAU, the Amateur Athletic Union, a small circuit out of South Carolina. He played for the South Carolina Hornets, and which is a grassroots team. And one year during his time with the Hornets, he also played with the great Zion Williamson. Mr. Morant attended Crestwood High School in Sumter, South Carolina. And while there, he grew from 5'9" to 6 feet. And you know the story. He became famous there. He played against Sumter High School and scored 47 points one day. His average was 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists per game. So he had a very nurturing childhood. Let me tell you a little bit about the high school in Dalzell, which is Hillcrest High School. Hillcrest High School was where the very famous Mr. Ray Allen played basketball, and during his tenure there, Hillcrest High School won the state championship. That is where Mr. Allen and Mr. T. Morant were teammates. And we all know Ray Allen. We all respect him. We all have high regard for him. He hails from Hillcrest High School in Dalzell, South Carolina. Crestwood High School, where Mr. Ja Morant attended high school, was a very popular high school in that area, and a very classy high school. You know, Zechariah 4:10, it tells us that we shouldn't despise the days of small beginnings. Ja Morant began in a very small, intimate setting in his life. He did not have the temptation by peers to become a gang member. He played basketball. There was not a lot of that in the town around him. There's not a lot of opportunities to become a gang leader in Dalzell, South Carolina. It's funny, though, how as a nation, we glamorize guns. You know, we have our young people brainwashed. We brainwash them through our TV programmings. We brainwash them through videos, those that we push up to be heroes in their sight, in their minds. Our young people are very impressionable, very vulnerable at an early age. And oftentimes they may grow up in a pristine environment, but because of the things that they are being fed, the visions that are constantly run across their eyesight, their eye gates, what they hear in their ear gates, cause them to daydream and cause them to want to be more than the environment that they're growing up in allow them to be. And somehow they believe that because they are in a safe and nurturing environment, because there's not a lot of need for them to be harsh or to be stern or to exert any kind of violence or power, they believe that they are not as good as those who grow up in those very violent communities, because those communities and those settings are glamorized in their sight. Now, I wanted to point out that our culture is beginning to do something about the videos where the rappers brandish guns as an enticement for those viewers that make heroes out of them. But is that really enough? Is that really enough when we have leadership that are brandishing guns, leadership that's brandishing weapons, leadership that's not taking down from this whole hype of being somebody because you are to be feared. You are to be revered because you are someone that will, I would say, inflict harm, physical harm on someone else. When you have our leaders leading in such a way, what do you say to children? What do you say to our young people? What do you say to them that grow up in safe homes and wholesome environments, but yet they want to emulate the ones that they see on TV or that they look at on video, uh, rappers and different ones. You know, and I'm not downing rappers, but what I'm saying is the mind of our youth are very impressionable. And now you put money in the pocket of a young man who has had years and years of uh, input that has caused him to want to taste a certain lifestyle, caused him to want to be a part of a certain lifestyle. You put money in his pocket. You give him clout. You give him recognition, and people begin to look up to him. And in his mind, he has to be more than a young man that grew up in South Carolina, Dazzle, a very unimpressionable place, a very quiet place, a place that you're not really proud of because there's nothing that happened in Dazzle that's worth talking about. Yet there is. Dazzle is the kind of place we want our children to grow up in because we can nurture them. We can keep them away from the kind of violence and the kind of input that will cause them to turn into individuals that we do not want them to be. We want them to be wholesome. We want them to be peaceable. We want them to be productive. We want them to be good role models. But in America, we're not promoting that. In America, we promote and glamorize violence of all kinds. The boxing arena, the boxing ring is a violent place, but we push boxing, kickboxing, and now we have MMA. The more violent, the better. Wrestling, although not all true, but presented in such a way that it can impress young minds. Professional football is a very violent, physically violent sport. Auto racing is a dangerous sport. Our movies are packed with violence, guns, bombs, explosions, knives, and the more, the better. We promote violence, we push violence, we condone violence. And in spite of a plethora of school shootings, our leaders still find it impossible to do something about guns. Ja Morant is 23 years old. Just a few years ago, he was in high school. Now all of the attention is on him. Everyone is waiting to hear what will happen to Ja Morant. What will Commissioner Adam Silver do to this young man? But when I think about how we wait in rapt anticipation for the punishment to come down on this young man, we still have a leadership in this nation that's hypocritical. The hypocrisy of American leadership that would place all of the onus on the shoulder of a 23-year-old young man and make him the poster boy of promoting gun violence.